Mm, don't get this.
Let us start. Let's start today's session. Shall we?
Yeah. So what about the intro?
Let's just start the session right away. Okay?
Yeah, fine, fine. So good evening, all. Good evening. This is your mentor, tutor, Joseph Paul Jensen back here. And as you guys have requested, I have turned up the camera. Right now, I think the audio quality seems fine. And also, I have worked with my microphones, and I think everything seems perfect. Now, yeah, good evening, all. Good evening. Let's get straight on to where we have stopped. I would give you guys a 2 to 3 minutes a cool of time so that everyone could join up for the classes, and after that we can get started from where we have stopped. Yeah, Akshad Rawat, I told you yesterday that my camera just died just before the event. So today I have cranked up the qualities because I have plugged in my camera and it looks cool. Yeah, I know that. And yeah, also I have plugged in my mic and I think it's working without any issues. So yeah, let's wait for 1 to 2 minutes so that everyone could join back onto our session, and we will start by 6:35. Is that okay? Yeah, I do believe that it's cool. So within the free time, if you have any questions to ask me, because I just cut off some of you guys in yesterday's session. So if you have any questions, you can raise it right now. I'm watching all of your comments. Sir, which topic will we study today? We will get straight into HTML. We will get to learn more about the tags that we need to use to make an HTML file, to make a website. We will be making out the backbone of a web page. Then we will get into CSS, where we will learn about how to style everything, how to, add colors, how to add, positioning every elements and stuff like that. We will learn more about that, and these will be the topics that we will be covering today. And by today's session, you guys will be, perfect to you make and understand the structure of a basic web one based website. Now, um, and tomorrow I am planning to give you guys a small, assignment, a small task that we can together do. All right. So I will be showing on how to work with a template, because that information would make much more sense for you guys, because working with the templates is most usually what you're going to do instead of making a website from scratch. So I will be teaching you on how to understand different elements that's inside the website, and how to arrange the styles, how to make the template look like, and look like a website that was made by us. Then I will teach you how to host it on GitHub pages. I will make you create a GitHub account. These are the topics that, and these are the agenda that we are looking on tomorrow's session. Today we will just look upon HTML and CSS. We will thoroughly learn all the topics that are required for us. So as we know that most of the people choose web dev, but which market is more better right now, app dev or web dev? Uh, it's a question by Akshad Rawat. And to be honest, web development and app development was in its prime during the 2010, 2015s, and it also came back to the best, best of the market when COVID had struck. because when COVID came into existence, most of our workflow came into online, online methods. So because of that, a huge in demand was required for web developers and app developers and people like that. And there is an interesting fact, an interesting study conducted by this person called, um, you, I do remember that guy's name. He runs Avalon Media. His name is, I think you guys would know his name. I just forgot his name. I will share, in this class. He will, yeah, just let me Google up. Uh, yes, this guy. What is his name, brother? Give me his name. Varun, oh yeah, that is the person that I was talking about. Varun Maya. Do check out his YouTube channel where he's talking about a crazy experiment on what had happened with this topic. Now, I think it's time for to get back into our session, our syllabus, where we will get into HTML. I am going to present my screen. So yes, exactly. So I think it is able for you guys to see my screen, right? I do believe. So where did we stop yesterday? Yesterday we were talking about yeah, it's working. So yesterday we were talking about how to get started into HTML. We were looking on the basics of networking, basics of web, different slides of web. And today we are getting straight into HTML. Yesterday we stopped in here our test file, and here we can see doctype.html. So doctype HTML. This exactly means that we are dealing with an HTML file. Then we can see HTML tag, which means that we are dealing with HTML file. So it tells that the code written inside the opening and closing parenthesis, like this HTML here, it ends here. So everything in between this both tags are going to be an HTML file, right? That is the main thing that works up here. Now I'm getting an urgent call. Guys, just please hold on a minute. I will be right back. So sorry for interrupting your session. I had just got a quick call. So let's get back to the session, right? hmm Yeah, I believe you guys can see my screen. Yeah, it's visible. So good evening all. Can you screen big sir, please? I think it's the max size I am looking on Sahil Kale. So yeah, we were talking about HTML. Now this is a basic font. This is a basic structure of HTML as we have seen here. The HTML tag defines the HTML code that we are going to say. So everything between this and this is going to mean that this is an HTML code. So then comes the head tag. Head tag definitely means, it means that the contents written inside the head tag. As we have said, there's an opening tag, there's a closing tag, and the content inside it is going to define, the specific features of it. For example, contents written inside a head would not be shown inside the website content. Let's take an example, right? Let's copy the path. I do believe everyone have done this on your personal laptop, on your personal computer. Created a file with an extension .html. You have written all this code from W3 schools, and now we are going to run this website. So, as you can see here, the page title, right, that was written inside the head tag, the page title. This is the guy that we won't see inside the content. So, okay, let's take this. Sorry, my first site. We can save. We can go here and reload. We can see up here the name changed. So we can see this is the title of the browser. Sorry, of the website. Now, one thing that I would like to say is that yesterday I have told the difference between web page and website. So this is a web page. It's not a website. This is a web page. Sorry for that. So in this web page, this is the title. This is the stuff that we won't see up here, the data part. So then comes the body part. Body part defines everything um, inside here. Like everything that see here is defined inside the body tag. Then inside that we can see two tags. It's called H1 and P. So what's the use of H1 tag? H1 tag is mainly used for defining headings, right? H1 tag defines a heading. So here we can see this thing is shown as large size. That means it's a heading. The cool part with headings is that we can change the size of the heading. So if we put this as H3 and put this as H3 and save it, we get back here and reload, you can see the size of the heading have reduced. So there are nearly six heading tags available. That is from H1 to H6. So there's H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So it is arranged in the ascending order. So the lower the value, the higher the size of the heading. The higher the value of the heading, for example, let me take H6, the smaller the size of the font. So we get to here, we got reload, we get this, the size of the heading have been reduced. Just try this out on your file so you will get a clear idea what I am talking about. Then we have this P tag. P tag defines paragraph tag. Now paragraph tag deals with contents that are written inside a paragraph. For example, we have let's take Wikipedia as an example. Wikipedia. In Wikipedia, we can see, Wikipedia, this guy. So we can see, yeah, this first one is a paragraph. So the main use case of adding this P tag is to differentiate different paragraphs. So up in my file, this first one is my first paragraph. I'm going to type P. This is the cool part, right? Since we have installed the HTML boilerplate extension and the HTML CSS support, the extensions up here, we can, the extension predicts what is the tag that we are going to type in here. So when I type P, we get a P tag and it auto completed there. So it makes the programming speed much more efficient. So I'm going to type in this is my second paragraph, and we can see when we save, we go to this page, we go to reload, and we can see this is the second paragraph out there. So this is the basic use cases of both this, P tag and H tag, means H1, H2, H6 tags. So yeah, let's see. Nope, I don't see any new questions arising. So yeah, that's the main use case of tags. So let's get more into other tags that are available out there. So um, I am, referring to W3 schools docs. because I have mentioned in my previous day's class, I am a human being. I might make mistakes. So it's my duty to not make mistakes by taking precautions like this. So I'm referring the contents from W3 schools so I could give you a good idea and I will not make mistakes while referring here. So talked about heading, we talked about p tag. Now, the next thing I would like to talk is, we have added a paragraph tag, right? We have seen in this Wikipedia site, there are these links. When we press on this, when we click on this free content, we are redirected on to that specific file, right? So how we will be able to replicate this onto our own web page? So we get back to VS Code. For that, we are using the tag name a. A means anchor tag. Anchor tag is basically used to create hyperlinks like this. So let's take an A tag. So when you see that when I type A, I got this auto recommendation of this A tag. When I pressed enter, when I press the enter key, I got the A href. Now what is this href thing? It is saying the link where it should redirect when we press on this hyperlink. I believe most of you guys know what is hyperlink. Hyperlink is what we have seen here. So here is this text called free content. When we press on this, we are redirected to this link. This is a wikipedia.com free content. So let's take this same link up here. So I am selecting this link, I'm copying it. I go back into my VS Code. I am pasting it up here in the href place. So this is the link. So instead of typing this link, we can give it a text. Let's see, it says free content. Free content. Oops. So it's free content. So what's happening here? I believe you guys are, working with this on real time. You are working this on your file. So we can see here the a tag it's used to create this hyperlink. So when I save this file, I go to my web page, I reload. I can see here the free content that pops up here. When I click it, it goes the free content. Now there are three attributes for this tag called the anchor tag. The first attribute is this href. Href has a value which tells us where we should redirect when we press this content. And the next the next attribute is called target. Target is mainly used to where should this link be open. For example, let's give it as blank. So when we hit on blank, what is the difference that's going to happen? So when I reload and when I press on this free content, it opens it in the next a new tab, right? That's not what happened before. It opened on the same page, right? It opened on the same page. Now we can see the website is loaded on the new tab. So for giving such a use case, we are using this attribute called target, and we give it in this value called a blank. Yeah, that is the main use case of this a tag. Now, are you guys asking any questions? No. Fine, fine, fine. So let's see about next. So um, as we have seen here in the Wikipedia page, we have seen this free content. We have talked about this paragraph tag. We have talked about this heading tag, the H1, the H1 to H6 tag. We have talked about this. We have talked about this. We have talked about this too, the anchor tag. Now, how will we add an image to our web page? For example, I need an image up here. How is that possible? So let's take an example. Let's take you know um, a random image. Let's Google for it. Oh, sorry. Let's search for a random image up there online. So I go into this image and download this image of a of an vintage car. I just save this image up in my desktop in my here. So this is a WebP file. I'm saving it. And when I go back to my VS Code, I can see this file up here. So how will I add this image file onto my web page? For that, we are using the img tag. So when we type in img, we press enter, we get this thing called src. This is an attribute for the img tag. Now, I do believe you guys have noticed one cool thing. The anchor tag, right? This tag had a closing tag up here. We can see a slash a at the end. This means that the anchor tag is closed, and everything, the everything inside your starting tag of this a and ending tag of this a, the content in between this is used for the anchor tag. When we take the p tag, paragraph tag as an example, we have an opening tag and a closing tag, and the content in between these are considered for this paragraph tag. But that is not the case for this img tag. There is no closing tag for this specific tag, img tag. Why is that the case? Now, let's see different types of tags. There are two types of tags. Um, I'm directly going to W3 schools because that's the best content you will get. So these are talking about a lot other tags available out there, right? Um, let's see the category. So this is like, sorry. So we get into different tags in HTML. I just forgot the name. So instead of giving out some bullshit, I am trying to give out the actual name for this. Yeah, I think the name is called empty tags and normal tags, structural tags. So structural tags will have no no, that's not the case up here. Um, open tags without an ending tag in HTML. So I'm trying to give you accurate information. I just forgot the name. Singleton tags or void elements. So yeah, I do think there is no need of learning about this name called singleton tags. That's why I forgot that name. It's not because I just don't learn about this. I just forgot that because it's not relevant. So um, so yeah, let's get back to here. So there are some tags that doesn't need an edit tag. There are some tags that needs an editing tag. So yeah, that's the difference. So let's get back to the img tag where we need to give a link to where our image is, image is up there. So here we have given a link for href up here. Similarly, we are giving a link for the image tag. I am going to copy the image that's saved here. I'm going to copy the path of this image. I'm going to paste it up here. So this image tag has an attribute called src and another attribute called alt. What is the use case of alt? Alt is used to display the image, or sorry, alt is used to display text if the image is not available. So let's type in image of a car, right? Let's save it. We go back into our page, we reload it, boom, our image is up here. So I think you guys notice something. The image tag is right up here, right near to this free content. So why does that happen? Why didn't it just gone below, right? The main reason is because of the alignment of each content. We will learn more about this in the css part. So I would like to give you another tip. That is, when you right click on any page, click on inspect, you will be able to see the code, right? You will be able to see the code of the website that we are visiting. So in here we can see, right, the padding, the margin, the border, everything of the image tag. I will talk about more about this image in the future, in the CSS part. So this is how you access the uh, you know we access the code of a website. We can do the same for Wikipedia. We can right click, we can inspect, and we can see the code of the HTML code of the Wikipedia site. This is everything that we see here. We are seeing many other tags. We are seeing the add that we have mentioned before. We are seeing many other tags which called div, which called header, and there is another tag. These are tags that we are going to see up there in our future. Yeah, there's this image tag which we have discussed right now. There are tags that commonly used. So do you guys have any questions up there? Professor, what blank do this work? Blank is used to open a hyperlink in a new window. I have shown it here. So here we have given the value of target attribute as blank. So when we get back to our page, we reload it, and we click on this free content, it opens the link in a new tab. So if we go into our VS Code, we just doesn't give any value to the target attribute. What will happen? We save the file, we reload the web page, and when we click on the free content, it loaded on the same windows, same window, it loaded on the same web page. So that's what happens when we don't give any value to the target attribute. The default value for this is the value called self. This value will be default up there for the target attribute. That's the main difference up there. Cool. So let's get back to our session. I'm feeling a little ill, or I just don't know. I'm having a little throat pain, so I'm not that energetic as yesterday. So pardon me for that. I will try to make it more energetic, and I believe that you are, running around with the code that we are testing up here. I do believe that you are also typing around with me while the session is going on. If not, please, please take up your VS Code or take up your text editor, put in all this code, save the file, copy the path, put it on your browser, see the content up there. Just learn while you watch this session. So we are going to the next, um, we are going into the next tag. Let's see which is the next tag available up there for us to learn. And yeah, this is everything we have learned up here. 09. Now let's talk about, yeah, we have learned about headings, so I don't think it is not necessary. Now let's talk about styling. That is the next thing that we need to take up. So when we get back into Wikipedia, right, we have dealt with paragraph tags, we have dealt with heading tags, we have dealt with anchor tags, we have dealt with image tags. Now, when we scroll a little bit bottom, right? Yeah, here we can't see the change in color. So mostly everything is written in white text. So what if, right? What if we need to change this text color into something else, right? For example, let's take this our demo. We need to change the color of this mask, my first paragraph. How will we do that? We get into back our text editor. This is our p tag, right? Here we are going to introduce you guys a, a attribute and its name style. Now, what is the use case of the style attribute? It is used to give value so that we can change certain style attributes of the p tag. For example, not just p tag, any single tag. For example, let's take style. We can take font color, font. So yeah, font color is not available. So let's take it as color. Color, we will take it as blue, right? When we save this file, we get back here, we will reload this. We get to see the color of this file have changed, right? Now let's change it to another color. So this color is going to be, uh, this aquamire. And when we save this, we get back to our site, we reload, we can see the color of my first paragraph has changed. Now, it is not limited to color. There are several other values that we can give to style. For example, we have this big image up here, right? We need to reduce the size of the image. We get back here. Where is our image? This is our image tag, right? So here, we are taking style. Now we are going to set the width property of the image, and that is going to be 100 pixels. Okay, and then we are going to turn in the height as 100 pixels. So let's turn up this. So we set it up. The width of the image is 100 pixels, height of the pixel as 100 pixels. Save the file, get back to our site, we reload, we can see the image have reduced in size. So that's everything up here. So the image have reduced in size. Now just make sure, this is an exercise for you guys who are listening, who are actively listening to this class. Just make sure that this image is showing the right size. I will give you a single minute. Just go and see whether this image has the right size. It's 100 pixel width and 100 pixel size. My height. I will give a hint, that is right click and inspect. When we go into that, we can see. So just go and check whether the height and width properties are the same. I'll give you a single minute. Yeah, you guys have popped up some questions. What is the work of art? Yeah, I will show that, right? That is going to be better. So example, this is the image file, right? I am going to just remove the name. So what will happen? There is no image, there is no link that tells us that where the image is situated. So what will happen is, in the situation we can't reach the image. So when we reload, we can see this text, right? Image of a car. That text was given up here in this alt attribute. So the value of this alt attribute will be displayed when we can't get to the image. That's the use case. Yeah, it's up here. So I guess you guys have saw how the size is seen. So when we right click on this image, we go into inspect, we get to see this space. This is a place where we can see the complete HTML code. Now when we move to the right side, we can see, yeah, this is where we can see the size of the image. It's set it as 100 and 100. Now the cool part of this space, this thing is called yeah, I just forgot the name. Yeah, I am a person who forgets everything in an instant. So let's change the value of this to 150 pixels. And when we click enter, just see what changes happen. The width of the image has increased. So we can make changes in this inspect tab, and it will show up in the real time. So but the thing is, when we reload this web page, it get back to the previous size. This is really important, and this is really useful when you are dealing with debugging the code that you have written. So let's get back to the doubts. What is href? Href deals with the link that were a specific a specific a specific object is situated. It is called as URL, uniform resource locator. This thing just gives out a link or to the location where a object is out there over the internet. For example, let's take this image, a random image. I am just googling it. I take this image. I'm taking this cube image, and I right click and I copy the link address. I will get a URL that is used to identify this cube over the internet. So let's the use case. So in this href tag, right? In this href tag, I am going to paste my images link. So let's see what difference is it going to make. When I get back here, I reload. When I press on this guy, we get to see we are going to redirect to a stock photos place. So when we click here, we get to see this page. So it redirected to this specific website where we can see the cube when we search for it. Yeah, no, cube. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. We will be able to see that. So let's get back here. So that's how it works. Now it also works for the src tag up here in this here when we give the link to the image, right? When we save it, when we reload, yeah, it can't be accessed. It is because, let's see what is the issue. It is trying to redirect us to some kind of web page, so that is the main issue. When we get to a random image, when we copy the copy image address, let's see what we will see. Yeah, this is the image, right? So when we give this link up here in the src tab and save, we will get the image of the I will just show you here. Also, I'm going to change the href, and now I have changed both the href and src. Both these attributes are used to give a value, so that when we press on the anchor tab, we will be redirected to the href link, and the images src is used to display that image on present at the link. So when we get back to our site, we reload the web page, we can see the image has been up here. When we click on this, we get the image content here. That's how href works. Now let's get back to us. All these users, yeah, exactly, Akshat, Rawat. Yeah, if any others have a doubt and if you guys know the answer, please help them. Akshat, Rawat, it's a good practice helping others. Cool. What about favicon? Favicon is used, if I'm not sure if you can see this. Let's take our, so now this thing, the W that you see here, this thing is called as favicon. So it's the image that we see on the title bar. We will get to that in a few moment. Um, box model, yeah, it is more into the CSS side. We'll talk about box model. Difference between ID class section and type, that is an important topic. The ID class section and type, we'll get to it. What is target? Why we use target is used to whether we need to open the link, the redirecting link, and we paste it in this anchor tag in a new window or not. For example, if I give a blank value for the target attribute, and when we get back to our site, we reload it and we click on this free content, it is the anchor tag. When we press on this, a new window has opened up with the image or with the link that we have given up here, right here. So that is the main use of href. So these are some of the tags up there. There are many other tags available in HTML. There is no need for us to go into every single HTML tags out there. If you need to learn about much more other tags, you can always get into W3 schools. They teach some cool tags up there. Now, other thing I would like to show you guys is unordered list and ordered list. Unordered list generally has these characters that are used to create lists. I will show you an example. Let's create an ordered list with a ordered list is a tag. It has an attribute called type. We are giving the value as fun, and inside this ordered list, we are going to create a list item. It's called first item, and then we are going to create a list item called second item. Now, when we save it, we get back to our site, we reload. This is what we call a list. In other, in Word, in Microsoft Word, it is called as bulleting, and here it is called as list. So when we create a list, we get our list items. That is the first item, the second item in this list ordered manner. So ordered list will have, you know, uh, it will have either numerical value, it will have characters value, but unordered list have shapes and other stuff as the type. So let's see another type, capital letter A. So when we save it, we get back here and reload. We can see the A is the first item's number, B is the second item's value. So with that character, we can list out these different items. So now let's go into unordered list. UL, it's called UL. We get unordered list. So just remember this: ordered list, OL, unordered list, UL. That's the difference it makes. So we get this type in here. No, it's called type, right? I think it's circle. I have high hopes that this won't work because it's not called as a type attribute for the unordered list. See, yeah, it worked. It works pretty cool, right? You can see here it's a circle, right? It's a circle. So that is one thing that we need to take care. That's how unordered lists are made. So let's recap everything that we have learned till now. The We were learning about HTML tags. There is this heading tag that is used to give headings in our HTML file. We have p tag to give paragraph tags to differentiate different paragraphs. We use anchor tag for creating hyperlinks. It is used for we can click on a text and it will link to something. We have used img tag. It is used to display an image. We used unordered list ul tag to list items based on an unordered way. We had ordered list ol tag to list items on an ordered characters. So these are the tags that we have learned till now. If you have any doubts, you just ping me up in the comment section. I will be watching you. Yeah. SRC contains the path to the image. Exactly. Explain target. I have explained it right now. What about DL? What do you mean? What do you mean by DL? What do you mean by DL? I just don't know. Just specify what do you mean by DL, Ajay edits. Priyapal explain target. Target I have explained up here that target, yeah, here. Target is an attribute for the anchor tag. Target is used to whether we need to open the link that is being redirected in a new window or not. I will show an example again. When there is no value set for the target attribute, and when we reload, this is our anchor tag. So when we click on it, the image is loaded on the same page. Now, why the image popped up? Because the link that we have given in the href that that shows up to the image file. So if we give a value called blank up here, it will show up in a new window. So when we click on free content, it opens in a new window. That is the main difference between the values of the target attribute. OL gives symbol. No, OL means ordered list. Ordered means it will have a specific character. It will have a numeric value. That's it. For example, an ordered value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, or small letter A, B, C, D, E, capital letter A, B, C, D, E, Roman letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the values that come in when we are creating ordered list. I will show you an example. In this ordered list, I call type called I have clicked on type, and let's see this. This means we are trying to show Roman letters, Roman type. So when we get back here, we reload. We see here is a Roman numerical based order. So if we are trying to create an unordered list, unordered list will list items based on the different characters. For example, let's put in square, and when we save, when we reload, we can see the list is being ordered on the basis of square. This is basically an ordered list. Difference between ID, class, type, and section. Harshini, I will be explaining it in just a few moments. Definition list. Yes. I think yeah, Akshat. I think Ajay edits were talking about ordered list. So yeah, that's what I have explained right now. SRC means source. Kavya Kesani, you are absolutely right. SRC means source. Yeah, so let's get back to our session. Now we have seen ordered list and unordered list. I think it's better to display both of them separately. So I have ordered list. I have type called I have a type called small letter Roman numerals. So when we get back here, reload, we get to see this is the ordered list. This is the unordered list. So let's get back to the next topic, and that is um, which one should we talk about? We should talk about input tags. This is a crazy thing. Input tags. Yeah, in this icon, page title, table, forms. Now let's get into HTML forms. Now, what is an HTML form? Obviously, when you are trying to log into a website, you will see an input tag, right? We will type in our email address, we will type in our name, we will type in our password. These all, for all these purposes, we use forms, HTML forms. So with the help of forms, we can input different, these input tags. So let's see about that. Now, um, I am, as mentioned before, I am looking up on this W3 schools so that I won't make any mistakes while I am teaching you guys. Just don't think I'm scamming you. Ah, So this is a code that I have copied out from W3 schools. Now, if you need to see that, just um, go into W3 schools and type in HTML forms. So do this with me. I again warn you. Do this with me. Stay with me. This is going to be fun. This is going to be great. Stay with me. Just go into the website called W3 Schools HTML Forms. Just search it for it. We'll get the first site. It's called HTML Forms. When we go into that, we get to see the example code up here. So when we try it ourselves, we get this code. So get into this site. I will search for W3 Schools HTML forms. You will see HTML forms, the first site. We go into that. We just see this, try it yourself and get to this web page. where we will see this code. Just select this part only, copy it and paste it in your HTML file. This is what we have seen here. So now we have seen this form. Form is a HTML tag. As mentioned before, it is used to import different types of input tags and label tags. So there is this thing called action. More on that on the backend session because we just don't need it right now. We are only focused on how to deal with this. Now, in this form, right, we are going in to create two tags. One is called a label tag and one is called input tag. Now, no, I'm feeling guilty of not explaining you guys what is the use of this action attribute. So action attribute is used to perform this action when we click on this submit value, or for example like when we click on this submit. For example, let's take this up here. When we click on the submit button, right, you have seen the submit form data we have received. So so when we click on the submit button in our website, right, when we click on the submit button, the data that we have entered here, this John Doe data when we entered here in this input tag, it will go into this file called actionpage.php. Right now they are using PHP. We will be using JavaScript as our backend language, backend development language. We have mentioned in the previous class. And in the JavaScript file, we will be processing all this information. We will try to store this value in databases. That's a completely different section. More on that on backend development section. So right now, we just don't need this action. So let's talk about label and input. What is the label tag? Label tag defines the label, or a plain text that is to be displayed along with an input tag. For example, the label tag here has this for attribute. So what is the use of this for attribute? This attribute is used to identify the label tag, this label tag. More onto that in the CSS section. So just give this thing, just don't remove that. Now the thing we have given is here first name. Let's see in action, right? Let's see this form in action. Save this file, go into our site, reload this, and we see here. So this first name is linked with this input tag. The last name is linked with the second input tag. That's what is the use case of this label, right? When label tag will be attached to the nearest input tag assigned to it. So the input tag is used to get information from the user. So this input tag has this attribute called type. Type means text. So when we type in text, we are trying to fill in a text type data. Now, what does this mean? If I, remove that and type in password, if I give the type attribute a value of password, we get back to our site. We can see here the text web that we are typing in here is hidden. That is what the use case of the attribute called type in the input tag. So when we type in here password, we can't see it. So I think it's better to type in here username, and the type we are giving is text. The id is named as fname. This is similar to for used up here. We can use this fname to sorry, we can use this id name to identify this input tag. So if you have noticed, we are using this fname. Fname is the value of this attribute, and it's the same value for this for attribute. So if we give the same name, it means this this label is linked with the input type. Let's change it, right? Let's change and give it this L name, because L name is the input type that is given up here. The ID name here given is L name, so I'm changing this to L name. Let's save this file, go back here, reload, and yeah, nothing have changed, right? But in practice, the username right now, this guy is linked with this input tag. So just type in the same ID name which you are trying to link the label with it. So that's the use case of ID. With the ID, we can identify this input tag. The name is used to identify, obviously identify this input. Both of them are used, but id is specifically used to show, excuse me. Sorry guys, some disturbance that happened to me. Yeah, I'm right now in my hostel room. So yeah, my room is, these guys just like to see what's happening around here. That's what it is. um there are some questions up here. What is sub and sup tag? Sub tag, it's called subscript and superscript. Yeah, I will show about that, right? Description is different between ID class and section. Yeah, Harshini, I think you asked that before. Yeah. So ID is used here to uniquely identify this input tag. So with the help of this ID, we will be able to identify this input tag. Why we will use this when we are working with CSS. Okay. So now similarly, we can give a value called John. This value is seen here. This John thing. So we can, there is no need of the value tag, we can type in the, so this BR tag. Now what is this BR? Like what is the use of BR? BR is a tag that is used to create a new line. So if we just remove it up here, saved it, we get back here, we reload, we can see it in the same line. You see, that is the use of BR tag. I think there is no need of BR tag up here. We can just remove it. It's much better in this way. So yeah, I think it's fine. So we can also remove the predefined value. That's the use case of value tag. So, and after this we can see this is how the input tags are formatted. This is how the label tags are formatted. Now we can see this input type called submit. Now what is a submit? Submit is an input type which predefinedly, so sorry, it predefines a button on which we can press, and when we press on the button, the action that we have mentioned here will work. So we have take the value as submit. So if we change the value as submit and login, sorry, this value will be changed up here. So you can see here. So when we are trying to take this as instead of last name, we are trying into this password. So we can give this input type as password, and yeah, that's it. Also we can add in another input. That type is going to be button. That is going to be an ordinary button we can have in radio. Radio is an interesting thing. So when we click in a radio and we click in options, I guess. Nope, it's not options. So form element input. Yep. So yeah. That's how we do it. So we have did it in radio. We type in the value. The value is going to be, you know, mail. We are giving another input type. It's called radio itself, and the value is going to be female. There is not enough ID and name right now, so we save it, and we get up here. We reload. We can see two up here. Cool. So input type is radio name. Cool, right? So now it didn't work. Why it didn't work? Just let me see. It's because we need to give it a name, and it's called sex. And here we will give it a name as sex. I think it might be the issue. Nope, that is not the issue. Um, you know, oh, so after that is the issue that I made. So after creating a radio button, so I think that you have seen what a radio button is. It's a round on which we can only press a single value. So we need to create this for. Yeah, we need to create this label called for, which talks about male. And after this female, we need to give it a label. And for is going to be a female, right? That's how it is done. Nope. For is going to be the. So sorry, guys. I just I have less used this type of radio buttons, so that's the issue. So we need to give in, instead of this name, we are going to give in the ID. It's going to be it's going to be the thing called sex, and here the ID is going to be sex, um, sex female, sex F, and sex So why did we give this ID? So the for this thing is we need to give the same name of the ID. For example, it's called 6M, and here this one is 6F, and here the data between the opening tag and the closing tag we will giving the value female, and up here we will be giving the value female. So when we get back here, yes, we have given both of the values called female, so one should be male. So yeah, that's how it works. So now you can see both as male and female. So when we press this, both of them got selected, and we can create this BR tag. So that's how the BR would be placed below, after a new line. So let's get back to here and reload. I think I haven't got up here. So input type radio. So I think this is the use case of radio. Now there is this thing called checkbox, right? Now if we take this as checkbox and we go up here, we reload this, we can see, yeah, we got this checkbox. So when we press in this and when we click on login, the data that we pressed up here, it would go directly onto the server side and it will be processed up there. So that is the use case of working with the form. Now someone has asked about superscript and subscript. We will look on to that. We have created a p tag. We are creating this. Here we will have a sub means it's a subscript, sub script, and a superscript. super script. Save. We get back here. We reload. This is what called a subscript, and this is what we call a superscript. The text is seen as under a bottom part, and a text is seen at the upper part. Where we use this, I will give you another example. We will take in another p tag. There is no need of a actually p tag. If you are typing just a random words, like example 21, we will take this sup tag sup. So this tag super tag, and we will type in raised to 2. When we save, when we get back here, when we reload, we can see this text as 21 raised to 2. That is the use case of superscript. And what is the use of subscript? Let's take x and a subscript 2. After this, we take it O. We save this, we get back here, we reload. You can see this as H2O. That is the main use case of subscript and superscript. I think you are clear. 1 महीने बाद सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा. It is just button for choose any option. Yeah, that is the use of radio. We can choose one option. There is some kind of bug. We can select two options of the. I will fix on that. Just Google around and see the contents in W3 schools. They will give you some other constraints. Now label tag. We have to provide label. You could give ID. So use checkbox also. Radio means we can only select one from the given options. Oops. We can give only one from the given options. So when we give reload, yeah, I have given a BR tag, so the H2O is below the 21 raised to 2, right? So we need to give a. I am going to take in this radio button from the W3 schools because mine didn't work. So yeah, let's see what is going to be the issue. So I'm going to copy it from W3 schools, just paste it up here. Oops. Don't feel like I am trying to scam you by, faking as a tutor because I need to, it's easier for me to copy paste this code and it's also easier for you guys to copy paste code from anywhere. So when we reload, we get to see this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now we can see we can only press in a single value. So from this, we can only select a single value. That is the main use case of these guys. So that is the main use of radio buttons, and that is the main use. This is the main use of checkbox. So we can select multiple values, and in radios we can only select one value. So this is the main tags that we have discussed. These are the tags that you need to go. Now, if you need to learn more, you can definitely check out W3 schools, or you can go into MD and Docs. Both of these guys just give out the best, the professional way of giving out information. Now, MD and Docs give out much more professional methods, and W3 schools give out much more of a basics level information. Now, these are the tags that I would like to teach you guys. Let's get into style sheets. The CSS cascading style sheets (CSS) are the files that we use to style everything up there on our web page. Now, when we see up here, this thing just looks messy, right? This thing just looks, like an old school web page. We need to make this clean. We need to make this super cute, right? For that, what are we going to do? For that, we are introducing you guys with a new file called um, you know styles.css. Now you can give any name to the file, but the extension should be CSS. So this CSS file will give styling to every single element out there in the HTML file. Okay, so so let's get back to this. Now, what is CSS? I have told full definition. It's cascading style sheet. Why it is cascading? It's a good question. I have never asked that question. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good question. Now the thing that I would like you guys to know is that even I, your mentor, might not be able to know information. Not just take my case. Let's take anyone in this world. Like we just don't have memory power of a computer. We are not robots. Like not most of them. I am also excluding somehow some of you guys from that. So right now I am not a robot. I am a human being. So I have limitations in my memory. Let's see the question of Subhasri Saho. Yeah, why is it cascading? Let's see. Why is CSS? Why does CSS cascade? So similar to me, just Google out if you have doubts on anything. Cascade refers to the logic your browser used to determine which CSS rule sets are the most important, especially when they conflict with each other. Now, so now got the idea. So, what does cascading means? Right now, we have seen this HTML file that first we have written h1 tag, then we have written p tag, then we have written the next p tag, then the anchor, the image. This flows like a waterfall. So the ones written on the top would be displayed first, then we get to the bottom of the file. Similarly, the style sheet works. So the styles that we have written first will be taken at first. And when the same styling, for example, I will show you, right? I will show you how we does this. So before using the style file, we need to link that file into our main HTML file. For that, we are going to use link tag. We are going to relay the relation of this file with our HTML file is going to be a style sheet. So relation is this attribute. We are going to include a style sheet. href it defines the link URL of the file. So I'm going to give it a styles.css. This makes that the style sheet that we have created up here will be linked to our HTML file. If we just don't give that, everything that we type in this file won't come up to our browser, so our web page. So the first thing I'm going to do up here is going to take up the body tag and change the background color to this light blue. Let's see whether this worked. When we go up here, we reloaded the file. This is the color that we see. That's a bad color. That's not what I expected, but yeah, that's the color that came up here. Now, what happened up here? We are trying to change the color, background color of the body tag. So here we can see the body tag is this specific tag, right? So we are selecting this specific tag and changing the color of this body to the given respective color, right? Now we can either input the hexadecimal value, or we can put in the name of the color. Both of them would straight up work. So let's save this and reload. Yeah, nothing have changed because it's the color that we have given. So now uh, instead of doing this, we can actually go up here. We have used this style attribute, right? This kind of styling, right? The styling inside the HTML file. This is called inline CSS. That means we are inputting the CSS styling inside the tag itself. So I type in style, I type in background color to azure. So this is the color that I have set up here, right? Let's see which background color is going to be set it up in our web page. So we have set it up our inline styling up here. We have So, this is called inline styling, and external style sheet is, is the method in which we create a new file for typing in our style. This is the best and recommended way of doing styles because it's going to be a head lot of a headache when you are trying to do this. Now, we are going to demonstrate what cascading is right now. So let's get back to our site and reload. Now, what do you have seen here? The color of the site have changed because inline CSS have much more priority than external CSS. Because of this, the color have changed. Let's take a waterfall, right? Waterfall as an example. External CSS is up here. It is it's up here. Then comes the internal CSS. So after executing everything inside the external CSS, then it comes to the internal CSS. So in this situation, the internal CSS is the one thing that is going to be displayed. That is why we call the styling cascading style sheet. Okay, I got Subhashri, I think you got the point about why we do that, right? Why use of two different CSS and index HTML in VS Code? So, as I have mentioned, if we are always trying to type in this styling, internal styling in our HTML file, it is going to be a hell lot of headache because we just don't we are not only going to change the background, we will be going to change the size of the image, we will be changing the color of the text, we will be scaling the image, we will be giving borders to the image, we will be giving several other styling to a single tag. So in such situation, it would be a hell lot of headache. Now, the next reason is CSS. It is, completely different thing. Considering it as a completely different thing from HTML is better because HTML is used to define the backbone. It is used to define the structure of the HTML. CSS is used to define the style of the HTML file or style of our web page. So keeping it separate is always recommended. Keeping it separate is always the best thing to do because when you are working with a large products and large projects, I have personal experience. Mostly they do separate these files. Also, when we are working with backend, when we are getting into web 2, the JavaScript file will be created separate from the main HTML file. You can actually create everything into a single bowl, but it would be as similar to your syllabus. Mixing up everything together into a single bowl. It is going to be complex. Instead of that, study stuff separately. That is going to be better for you. So that's why we use. Yes, through link tag inside the head tag. This is called the external CSS. Exactly. So we can link the CSS in HTML file. Yes, we use the link tag to link the external style sheet to the web page. To use the work and HTML file is used to structure the man. If you guys have any doubt, ping Akshat Rawat. He's such a good dude. Hats off to you, bro, for explaining and helping me out with helping all others who have doubts. What is doc type? Doc type is used to tell the browser that we are dealing with an HTML file. So if we haven't given a doc type, nothing is going to happen actually. But it is a good practice to give doc type HTML because it's better. It was, it's the tradition that we have been using in the previous generations. We need to define that it is an HTML file, but right now there is no use case for that, but it is a tradition. When we take our religion, why do we go behind a religion? Because it is our tradition, it defines us, right? It's similar to like that, the dog type in HTML. It is declaration of document, yeah. So for let's see what will happen if we just delete this guy. Save, we get up here, reload, nothing happened. That's what I was talking about. So it's not relevant if you just don't give it, nothing's going to happen, but it's good if you give it because it is the law. So let's get back to the style sheet. Now here we have given internal styling for this p tag, right? So I need to give this styling as explained before. I need to give this inside this CSS file. So I'm going to move this from this file. I'm going to paste this here. Now the problem that we arise here is that we have different p tags. Like one p tag is up here, one p tag is up here, one p tag is up here. So how will we identify which p tag should we use and which p tag should we select so that its style can be changed? That's where id and classes are coming in place. This is the most important thing that you need to learn. This is the most important thing that you need to learn. Just focus. This is the most important thing that you have to learn in this whole syllabus about ids and classes. Why I'm talking is because I need to I need to style this specific p tag. So what I'm going to do is to define this attribute called id. I'm going to value it as first. I'm going to give it a unique name first. So now what is the difference between an id and a class? So I'm going to give this guy a class called second, right? So first of all, I let me show you how this thing id works. So when we are using id in the html file, to get to get that id from the html file in the css file, we use the notation called hash. So when we use hash and type in the id name, we are selecting this specific id, and inside that id I am typing in the stuff called style equal to, sorry, we don't need this style part here. We are setting the color as aquamire. Sorry, let's change the color to something else. Let's change the color to crimson, right? Change the color to crimson. So right now we can see we are focusing on the first id called first. So let's see what happens. When we reload here, you can see the color of this p tag changes. Now, what if we had given just the p tag up here, right? We go back here, we reload. Every single p tag got this color. So that is the main reason that why we need to use IDs and classes. Now, what is the difference between an ID and a class? ID, ID is actually a unique name that we are giving to a a tag. For example, here this p tag has this ID called first. So with this ID name, this value, the value first, we can only access this specific id, right? But the thing is that if we like we have given an attribute called class, it has a value called second. Now I am going to give this same class name to the next p tag that was here, right? I'm going to give it the same class name, class equal to second, and then I am going to focus on this class. Now to select class from the HTML file, we will be using the dot notation. So after pressing dot, we are going to second, and then we are going to set the color as we need to set the color to something yellowish, right? Let's see the change in color. So I have given an RGB value. Either I can give a hash value, or I can give an this kind of value. These there are different kinds of supported values that we can give into this color attribute. I have given the hash, hexadecimal value. This is better, so I have given this hexadecimal value. Now let's see what has happened up here. So reload. We can see this ID, this and this class has got the same color. Now what if I created an other p tag up here, and I told this is my third paragraph, right? When I get back here and reload, it got the predefined color as white. That is the difference that you need to take. Now, what will happen? What will happen if I give this ID name to this paragraph? Let's see what is going to happen. When we reload, it has got the color, right? But theoretically, let's just assume that that just doesn't happen. So theoretically, IDs are used to uniquely identify a single tag. Classes are used to group different tags together to get to get a single property. As we have seen here, we have told this second class. You know the class that's named second. We have different p tags called, we have which has this class called second. We have up here. So these p tags will get the color as yellow, and the id that's called the first one, the id called first, this guy will get the color red. Now let's get to html id. Now let's see the theory of this thing, right? We get into html, we get into HTML ID. We can see that HTML ID attribute is used to specify a unique ID for an HTML element, cannot have more than one element with the same ID in an HTML document. So that is the theory of that. It's the same that I have explained. Target is an attribute. Brother, Tiasa Maiti, I think you are late for the class. We have described it several times. Akshad Rawat, again, hats off for explaining everything for these guys. I was not trying to be rude, but I have explained it before. So let's get back to our CSS. So right now, I have styled, right? I have styled the second tag. Now, we have, raised a query, like we have raised a complaint before that this image is sitting next to this a tag. So what can we do about this? Can we, right now I'm going to show a way that we can move this image a little bit to the right side. So for that, I need to select this image tag. So here, since there is only a single image tag, yeah, the headphones that. So
You're not audible, Chose. You're not audible. You've muted yourself.
yeah, give me a moment. Yeah, I think it's audible right now. Is it audible, everyone? Is it audible? Still not audible? Oh, that is weird.
Is it audible, guys? Can you update with a new comment? Shit, it's still not audible. Audible? Yeah, I believe you, Akshadravat. It will be audible. I believe you. Yeah, the headphones just paired off. I think that sucker always, gives me some kind of issues every single time. Najma Mahmood, I am so sorry I can't speak. The only Hindi that I can speak fluently is that मैं कुछ कुछ हिंदी मालूम. That's the only Hindi I know. That's why I'm not speaking in any Hindi. Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for responding through the comments and updating me. And thank you for letting me know that my audio was out. So we were discussing about styles, right? We were discussing about these ID. So main use case of class and IDs when you're working with larger projects. This is from my personal experience when I was learning and getting into HTML and CSS. I just don't get the use case of class and ID because yes we can just directly go into this image tag. We can set the here there is the style element, right? We can put this in this external CSS, so we can explode this guy. We can put that in this external CSS. So in external CSS, the thing that you need to take care is that you just should not forget the semicolon. If you just forget the semicolon, it should pop up an error. So yeah, it should pop up an error. It isn't. So that's strange. Yeah, whatever. It's better to put this semicolon. So what I was talking about is that what is the need of class and ID? When I can just directly do this and get back here and reload. Yeah, the image is of same size. But if I can take up this 150 and 100, I save back here, I reload, and oops. Yeah, as you can see here, the image have widened. So what is the use case? But when I have tried to actually start developing in Web 1, it was a headache. When I was dealing with this portfolio website that I was building for myself, it was a menace. So it was so difficult for me to do that. So it's better. It is highly recommend you guys should use a class or an ID to specify which tag you are trying to tap into with the help of CSS file. So I am giving the class name as car. So I need to tap in here and change the car. And again, I'm warning you, you should be doing what I am right now doing on this tutorial. You should be doing what I am showing up here. Else you won't learn. You won't learn. You will only learn by doing yourself. So without following my tutorial or anyone's tutorial, without learning, without doing at the time when you're learning, you will never learn it completely. So do experiment with everything that I am showing in this class. Just do everything. So save this, get back here, reload. It is back up there. So let's increase the width to 250. We can get back here, reload. The width has been increased, as you can see. Now this is the main use cases of CSS. Now there are several other kinds of value that we can give into this CSS file. For example, let's give padding. Padding, we are giving a space to all the sides of the specific tag that we are talking about. So let's give 10 pixels, right? Now let's see what change has happened. When we get back to here, there is literally a no space between the free content and the image. What will happen if I reload? You can see the image has moved a little from the free content, right? From this free content, the image has moved a little, not just from the free content, it has moved from every single corner. There is a quick challenge for you. Just get to know how much space is being used as padding for each sides of the image. I'll give you a hint. Use the inspect that I have taught you before. This is a challenge for you. I'm giving you a single minute for that. Just be quick if you guys are doing everything. So, posting, sorry, right click, go into inspect, and just see where you can see the change that's happened, the padding that that we have given. Just make sure 10 pixels is being applied everywhere around the image. Can we move the image in center? Yes, it is possible with the help of giving different values in the CSS file. I would give complete control to your hands, because every I can't teach every single data. There are lots and lots of values up there. So just get into working with this, and if you need to do such stuff, I have given you enough resources to get started. For example, you can get into Find. um, it's called PPHIND. It's a great AI tool, AI chatbot, where you can ask your questions based on programming. So it can give for how to send up an image. So you can search for it at the capacity. So that's the thing. Just log in before you do stuff. So if you search for it, Fin will give you a great content out there. So just check these resources. For Previn blogs, it's up to you. You can learn of your own, because uh, you know there is this quote that I have learned from a legend, and that is, there are no books and no teacher in this world to teach you the right path. You are free to choose your own path and will in this world. So you are free to choose any resource out there, uh, and yeah, search for the thing that you need to learn. Thoda thoda Hindi aata, exactly. I know what he told. Thoda thoda Hindi aata means just a little bit of Hindi, right? I just can understand a little bit of Hindi. So yeah, pardon me for not speaking in Hindi. By giving different values and adjust height and width, you can also use tag, center, align. Yes, by giving different values for width and height, we might be able to center, but it's better to use the padding that I have taught you right now. But the problem is that when we try to scale the website, so let's see. So when I try to resize this window, it stays up there as it is, right? The website is not scalable, the website is not responsive. So in such cases, it is not advisable to give the padding. There's this different method that we use. I will try to teach you in this session if I have time. So let's get back to the session. So you right click and press inspect. Now in this window we can see up here we have this padding, and it's called 10 pixels around every sides of this image. That's how padding is given. Now now we are getting into one of the next most important thing in excuse me, before going into something important, I just need a minute. I will be back right now. Just hold on. I will be back just within 13 seconds. So, is it audible? Yeah, I do believe it's audible. And yeah, as I have mentioned before, I am right now in my hostel, so this room is they just don't leave me alone. So let's get back. Let's get back into our syllabus. The next most important thing that I would like to is div tag. Division tag. So what is the use case of division tag? Division tag is used to separate contents inside the web page into different divisions. For example, let's see this here. So we can club similar elements into a single division so that we can work on it. For example, these three texts can be clubbed together as a single division because both yeah, like three of them are talking about paragraphs. We can club these together because those are lists. We can club these together because these are dealing with a form. So clubbing them together is as I not this guy, only this form. So clubbing them together great practice when you are working with HTML and CSS because we can do several stuffs on this divisions. So dividing the website into several divisions is great, and that's the best way to actually build websites. So I am going to create a div right in this middle, and I am going to divide this form to this div, right? So I am going to take this, and, yeah. So this is the division that we are going to deal with. So now, what is the use case of this division? As I have told before, I am going to tap into this specific division. I am going to tap into this specific division, which consists of this form, and I'm going to do magic on this whole form. Right, for that I am going to use this class, or let's give it an ID. It's called as form. Right, this is the name of the ID that I have given. Copy the ID name, go into your styles CSS file. I'm going to give it this, since it's an ID, right? Since it's an ID, don't forget to mention it with the hash. Hash means you are typing it into an ID. Then give the name of the ID. We open the curly parentheses. Now we are going to give it a
There has been some technical error. The instructor will return in a moment. There has been some technical error. Guys, we need you to be patient and cooperate with us. The instructor will return in a moment.
Hey, Mimansa, I am up. So yeah, is it ready? Hey, I think yeah, I am back on track. The most unexpected shit happened right now. The power went off. I just didn't forecast it in this schedule. So sorry guys for making this a mess. I have been unavailable for the past minutes and couple of minutes, so I wasn't able to complete these stuff. So no, Gunjana, you shouldn't leave. You leave when I tell you the session is over and you can leave. I just got this unexpected stuff going around. That's what main reason. So let's get straight back to our topic. So we were dealing with divs, right? I think everyone can hear me. I'm audible. So hey everyone, if it's audible, just comment me on the comment box. I will be explaining div within the next 3 minutes, and we'll be talking about the rest on the next class. Unfortunately, there is no other way. You know. Yes, sir. So yeah, let's get back to it. So we were talking about forms. Sorry, we were talking about divisions. Now, what is the use case of divisions? We can, perform several operations on the contents inside the div, like the opening and closing part of the div. You can perform several operations on that, and that is the main use case of this. So when we get back here, right, we have given an ID for the div that's named as forms, so that we can tap into the ID with the help of the hash inside the css file, and we can create a padding to the left a 50 pixels, so that what happens is that this whole div will get moved 50 pixels from the nearby object. Let's see it in action, right? And we reload. Yes, as you can see, only the div, right? Only the div that was present inside the, sorry, the only the contents present inside the div were moved by the given amount of padding. So not just padding, we can give this thing called margin. Margin or is also used to give the the same stuff, but it is different from padding. So it can be applied on. So for some elements, padding is required. For some elements, margin is only required. For some elements, both of them are required. So to differentiate between them, we use margins and padding. Both of them does the same thing. As you can see, when we give 100 pixels, the total effective movement will be around 150 pixels. Let's When we reload, we can see the div has moved by 150 pixels from the left to the right. So that is the main use case of using div. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today's session, I guess. So this is the main use case. Now, not just these kind of movements, we are able to give the color as some kind of, we Alice blue. What kind of color is that? Let's give him some dark kind of blue. Let us see what happens. Now, as you can see here, we can see this as RGB, and we are given three values. So we all know that color can be represented in three values: red, green, and blue. So right now we are maintaining different values of the intensity of each colors. So we are giving zero intensity to the color of red, we are taking 78 intensity of green, we are taking 146 intensity of blue, and thus we are creating this specific shade. So that's the value that we have given here. So when we get back to our browser and reload, we can see all the text, like everything whose color can be changed with the help of this div tag. Now it's not just about the form. What about grouping this list item and this image and the anchor tag? We can also do that in a single div. For example, this is the stuff, right? So we are moving this a little bit to the right. We are giving a indentation by pressing on shift and tab, so it gets to the left side. If we press control and tab, sorry, we get, it's just pressing tab. So when we press tab after selecting the required text, it would move to the right. We will get the required indentation. This is really useful when you are trying to move a large number of text to the side, because we need indentations, right? We are trying to create a div, and yes, we are creating a div. This div is named as, we can name with the help of a class. We can name it as img and img and um, text. Like let's give it a name. Now, one thing that you need to take care is that you shouldn't add space in between class names. Why? Is because that is the one difference between class and id. We can actually give multiple classes to a single div. For example, I can add image and text as one class name, and the forms as the next class name. So what happens here is that I can tap into the image and text class with the help of my style sheet. I can tap into the image and text style image and text class, and I can change the color. I'm just taking the color because it's the most easily accessible example. So I'm changing the color to some
I am sorry for that inconvenience, guys. Let's just end the session now. Thank you so much for joining, and let us meet again tomorrow at the same time. Okay? Thank you all. Bye.